I just spent the whole entire morning cleaning and decluttering and doing laundry and all of that fun stuff. Took a shower and now I'm ready to chill and read some books. Hey guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. I am so very glad that you are here. We're going to be reading 3 summer books in a week, and I am so very excited because all 3 of these books are new releases from this year. The first book that we're going to be reading in this video though is Summer Reading by Jen McKinley. I really haven't heard anything about her or this book, and this is my first book by her, so I'm excited to see if I enjoy it. I actually started it the other day. I am on page 80 so far, and I am really enjoying it. This book is basically about a girl named Sam who goes to the island that she grew up on for a summer. She hasn't been back in years, and she's babysitting her 14-year-old brother while her parents are like off on a vacation for a few weeks. Honestly, nothing too crazy has happened this far, but I do like the very like cute romancy vibes that it's giving. We're just gonna get right on into doing some more reading of this.
Alexa's dreaming now, drifting off my couch. We walked down streets she's walked 1,000 times. At the AM that night, under palm tree lights, for the first time.
Okay, I have read quite a bit of summer reading. I'm on page 320, and I just realized I have not updated you guys like at all. I think I briefly mentioned the plot at the beginning, but basically Sam is going to the island to watch her little brother Tyler for a few weeks. She also like just like quit her job and stuff like that, so it's kind of like an in-between stage for her. And then we have the like guy lead named Benedict, or Ben. I like Ben a lot. He low-key kind of like reminds me of Gus from Beach Read. Not just because he's a librarian, but because he just like, I don't know, he says the right things, he does the right things. He's like not perfect, but he knows exactly what to do. Like to like redeem himself and to treat like a woman right, I guess. I think that the relationship together is also super like effortless. I think a lot of times things can feel like forced and stuff like that in books, but their banter is just really good too. Like they just like know how to talk to each other, know what to say to make it just like flow and sound right, and you can tell that they're like so into each other. And I also love how like they're both like helping each other with like things that they really want to do and like things they want to achieve. Sam really wants to write a cookbook, but she has dyslexia, so like she can't like read or write like super well, and Ben's literally been going over to her house while she cooks and like writing everything down and like explaining everything for her, and basically like just like helping her like make her dreams come true of writing this cookbook. She's never told anybody else that she wants to write a cookbook, and then she's helping Ben with his thing, and it's just like a very, I don't know, it's a very refreshing read. I think that's why I'm kind of like zipping through it too. I am just like really enjoying it. There was one thing though in this book that like kind of cringed me out just a little bit, but besides that one thing, I'm really liking it. And also her relationship with her little brother Tyler has been like a fun subplot as well. I feel like the fact that this book isn't just about the romance, it's about so many other things going on. It's about like a real, like it just makes her feel more real, because like as a person, like I don't just have a love interest. Everything's not just about the person that I love. It's about my friends, it's about my family, it's about my job, it's about my passion and my hobbies and all those other things. And Jen McKinley, oh hey, I feel like he's watching me. But I don't know, Jen McKinley just did a really good job at making these characters feel super real. I think I have about like 80-ish more pages of this book left. I don't know if I'm gonna finish tonight because Luke is coming over and we're gonna hang out and do something, but I'm really hoping that I can finish it tomorrow, and then I will tell you guys my final thoughts. Okay guys, I officially finished Summer Reading by Jen McKinley, and I actually like this book a lot more than I thought I was going to. I think one of my favorite parts is the fact that like he reads to her because she has dyslexia and can't really read, and I just think it's so cute that he would just like read to her and it would be how they would kind of bond. I just thought that was so precious, and I loved the bond that like she got to have with her brother. I loved her best friend in this book, and I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a book about her friend Emily, so I'm excited for that too. And I just really enjoyed the writing. I've never read a book by Jen McKinley, but I definitely want to read more after reading this one. I'm gonna give all my ratings of all the books that I read in this video at the very end and like a wrap up, just because I'm super indecisive, and knowing me, I'm gonna need a few days to like sit on the books and really think about my ratings because they always change like a billion times. So my final thoughts on this book coming at the end. The next summary book that we're gonna be getting into is Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. I didn't read her first one, Every Summer After, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. I just really wanted to read this one because look how beautiful that cover is. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get right on into Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. Okay, hey guys, coming to you from my living room floor. Don't know why I'm sitting on the floor right now, just kind of felt like the vibe, you know? I got a good feeling about it. Let's do a quick little update on Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a lot farther into this book than I originally intended for the first update, but I can still give you the information, and that's all that matters, right? Meet Me at the Lake is basically about this girl named Fern, and her mom ends up dying, and Fern ends up inheriting their like little resort that's on a lake, and it's called the Brookbanks Resort because her last name is her last name is Brookbanks. So this resort has been in her family for 2 generations. It would be the 3rd if she takes it over. And she's kind of like back and forth. Initially, she never wanted anything to do with the resort, but now all of a sudden she kind of like wants to take it over. So she's kind of going through a lot, and it's also like a dual timeline. So it's like 10 years in the future, and then you go back in time. And whenever you go back in time, you meet this guy named Will, and basically him and Fern spend one day together in the city of Toronto. Basically, it's just kind of like all about these 2 people who only knew each other for one single day reconnecting like 10 years later, and they just have this like, not like insta love, but like they have this like instant, no, it is kind of insta love. They have this like instant connection and like chemistry. But I don't know, it's also just kind of weird because back like 10 years ago, Fern had a boyfriend for like 4 years whenever her and Will first met. I don't really know how I feel about it, to be honest. I think that the writing is good. I'm really enjoying the writing. I just don't really know if I'm the biggest fan of a story that's based off of, I know it wasn't cheating, but it just like feels weird. Like if you were in a happy relationship and you were like happy with your partner, then you'd be with your partner, you wouldn't be thinking about anybody else. And she just kept saying that she just couldn't stop thinking about Will and stuff like that, all the while she's dating Jamie. And she literally knew Will for one day. It just like, I don't know. It just makes me feel weird and kind of like icky. I'm really shooting to finish this today because I do only have 4 chapters left, which I think is also less than 50 pages. So I think that it will be doable. So yeah, let's go and finish it.
Gone for so long, moonlight on the lawn, and your hand-me-down car feels so far away.
Okay, Okay, don't mind this shot being off-centered. I'll just scooch really close to the middle. See? It's fine now. Last night, I stayed up until like 12:30, finishing Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. I feel like my thoughts aren't like fully there yet because it takes about like 2 to 3 business days for me to fully like understand how I feel about a book. I think I enjoyed it. Again, like I was saying earlier, didn't really enjoy the whole her already having a boyfriend thing. Like, I know a lot of people might say that's like a love triangle, but to me that doesn't even count as a love triangle. Like, the main character is already with someone else, and I know there's 3 people, and technically that makes a triangle of love of sorts. But it's weird because it's like, you should be choosing your significant other. It shouldn't be their choice, you know what I mean, in that instance. So I did not like that at all. I did, however, love the writing. The summer vibes were very strong. I've also never really read a book about like a resort type thing, so I thought that was kind of cool. Kind of reminded me of a Hallmark movie because I feel like I've seen a Hallmark movie kind of like this book before. I think my favorite part of the book though wasn't her and Will, just because, I don't know, like I said earlier, it kind of gives me the ick. But I really liked the presence of her mom in the book, and then the relationship of Fern's like dad, if you know what I'm saying, like Peter. Just those like little snippets that we got of that. And I don't want to like give anything away or anything like that. I just thought that was very precious. But I don't know, I wasn't really like in love with Fern as a character. I didn't really like relate to her a lot. Will was fine, and it was just too like insta-lovey for me, honestly. Like, I still did enjoy it, but like it's just like not my favorite book ever, if that makes any sense. And the ending just kind of, I'll be honest, I just really didn't like the ending. It was just kind of like a weird way to tie things up, and it's almost like they were trying to like force a 3rd act breakup, which it doesn't need to happen in every romance book. Because I'm not gonna lie, I feel like sometimes that happens. I just feel like there's always a 3rd act breakup. Like, me literally saying there's a 3rd act breakup doesn't even spoil this book for you. The cover still stands the test of time though. Like, I can't stop looking at it. It's just so pretty. Now that we have our 2nd book down, we are going into our 3rd and final book of this reading vlog, and that book is going to be the infamous Happy Place by Emily Henry. I've been looking forward to reading this book since it came out, and initially I was going to wait to buy it until it became a paperback so that it would like match the other ones, which is the only like the 2nd book that I've read by her, the first one being Beach Read, and then I have her 2 other books right here on my TBR cart, and I'm hoping to maybe get to them sometime this summer, but I just had to get to this one next because I've just heard so much hype about this book, which also kind of makes me a little bit nervous to read it. But I also really love Beach Read. Like, that's a solid 5-star read for me, so I feel like I'm gonna like this one as well. I actually started it last night because I couldn't go to sleep after I finished Meet Me at the Lake, and I ended up getting to page 50, and it's told in the character Harriet's perspective, and it's about her going to her happy place, which is her friend's dad's house that's like out in Maine and like away from everything, and her friends just kind of like go there every year and they hang out and they just have a lot of good memories there. And they've been doing that, I think, for like the past 10 years because they've all been friends for like 10-ish years because they're college friends, and now they're all a little bit older. So there's like 3 sets of partners and 6 friends total, and Harriet is engaged to Win, but they end up breaking off the engagement and they don't tell any of their friends. And this is like one of those scenarios where it's like their friend group together. It's not just like, oh, it's Harriet's friends or oh, it's Win's friends. It's like their friend group they like have together. So like it's a little bit more tricky than just being like, yeah, we broke up, like over the phone type of thing. It's just like a tough situation too. Breaking off an engagement is so much different than just like breaking up in general. But it turns out this is the last time they're going to be able to go to the vacation home. So Win and Harriet both decide to like not tell anybody that they've broken off their engagement yet and just like enjoy their last week in their happy place. So I'm very excited to continue reading it. I've really enjoyed the first 50 pages. I actually wrote a thread about this book and said I'm only 50 pages in. Why do I have like such a deep connection to these characters already? And I'm also not minding the hardcover thing. I haven't read a hardcover book probably since I was in like middle school, to be honest. I feel like every other book that I've read since then was a paperback or like on a Kindle or on my phone or something like that. And yeah, I'm just excited to get back into it. tired. Okay, it is time for an update on Happy Place. First things first, I took off like the jacket cover and it's actually so beautiful. Wasn't expecting it to be yellow. And then this part of it is like pink and it kind of like, I don't know what the word for that is. Shimmers, glitters, reflects. There it is. It kind of like reflects and I think that's really cool and like a pretty little touch. Also, I don't know why, but like holding a hardback with like no cover on it makes me feel like I'm like a super fancy like reader girl. Like I read like super like important informational non-fiction type of books for some odd reason. Because I feel like if you go into like an old bookstore or like, you know, like an older person who like reads a lot of books or anything like that, I feel like they always have like just a plain hardback book. You know, like they just look so like studious and I'm like, yeah, I read. I heard that a lot of people take off the jacket whenever they read a hardback and I was like, I don't really get why, because I don't like read a lot of hardbacks like I said earlier, but now I definitely get it because it's just kind of like annoying and like gets in the way and like it's always kind of like falling off and like flapping, so I just like wasn't gonna mess with that. Am I gonna keep this because like it's gorgeous and I love the color and the cover? Absolutely. But for right now, for reading purposes, she's gonna stay off. Don't you love how you go to film a clip and your battery's about to die? Isn't that just so fun, guys? Ugh, I love it so much. Anyways, like I was saying before I was absolutely rudely interrupted, I am currently on page 272, about to start chapter 28. My tripod is literally shrinking. Why is it doing this? What is going on? Okay, I think I fixed it. Not really too sure. Sorry about all the interruptions. We're finally gonna go ahead and get on into my thoughts. I feel like the majority of the first half of the book is kind of just like setting everything up, kind of like every book does, but it's more about like the friendships with everybody, which honestly like I'm really enjoying. I love it in a romance book whenever it's not just like strictly all about the romance, but there's like more things going on and stuff like that. It just builds and makes everybody feel more real. Kind of like how I was saying in the book Summer Reading, how Sam and Ben just felt so real because they had like real world problems and like real things going on in their lives and like passions and hobbies and stuff like that. And I definitely get this with these characters. Even like the four like friends that aren't like the two main characters, they still have so much like realness to them and like little quirks and little things that they do, and I just kind of like love the way she writes them. I'm also enjoying her writing a lot as well, just like I did in Beach Read, maybe even like a little bit more. I just feel like everything is so intricately like explained, it's so thought out and just so thorough. I just love the way she writes. I still again haven't read her other two books, Book Lovers or People We Meet on Vacation. They're on my shelf, but after reading and just like getting into this one and Beach Read, I want to read them so bad just because I'm like falling in love with the way she writes. It's just so good. I also had no idea that this book was kind of like dual timelines, so it doesn't like just go back in time to like one time, it goes back in time to tell like things that have kind of like happened in their relationship, like big like plot of their relationship, if that makes sense, like when they got together, when he proposed, all of that kind of stuff. And I feel like I'm finally getting into the parts where like they break up, which isn't a spoiler because this book is literally about like a broken up couple like finding their way back to each other. I cross my fingers and hope because I don't know if I can handle it if they don't get back together. And also I actually just read about the part where he meets her family, and I read about the part where she meets his family and stuff like that, and she just like, I don't know, they just like fit together so well and I love it. But like she kind of has like an interesting relationship with her family, which like I feel like a lot of people can relate to. It wasn't just like some perfect sunshine rainbows moment. It's actually like real and like raw. He was just like there with her through it all, and oh, like Win is such a good character, and it's so hard because like he's so hard on himself, you know what I mean? Like it's so hard to like watch him like degrade himself and downgrade himself. And I feel like Harriet's always like, Win, like you're smart, like you're capable. Just because like she's some big doctor, like he's always just kind of feeling like the lesser than, if that makes sense. Even with like all of his friends too, like all of his friends are like lawyers and like super smart and like read like really smart books, and he just feels like more simple. He's not very good at school, he doesn't think he's very smart, and it just really makes me so sad that like such a cool guy, especially because like you're seeing him from Harriet's perspective, and she like just absolutely loves him, obviously, because like they were engaged to be married and like they're each other's persons, you know what I mean? So seeing him from her perspective specifically just makes it so hard to watch him like downgrade himself, and he just has such like a low self-esteem. It makes me so sad. I feel like these characters are really easy to connect with though, because I feel like a lot of things that happen in the plot like wouldn't be something that wouldn't happen in real life, which I find it makes it so much easier to connect with. There's like times where like they're in fights, and there's times where like the characters overthink and then they like figure it out all together. Just like the realness of being a person and having feelings. And this book is truly not just about romance, but it's about friendship, and I find that so heartwarming, and I I've really just been loving it. There's honestly been a few moments too that I've gotten like a bit teary-eyed. Like I haven't like sobbed or anything like that yet, but I know that there's a lot of people who have been saying that they've like sobbed their eyes out to this book. I don't know, I just really do love it so much so far. Update, it's a little while later. I took a little break. I had to go like cat sit for my sister too for a little bit, and honestly I think I needed the break because you all saw how I was reacting to the book, and it was even worse after I turned the camera off. So, I am a little bit farther into the book though. I'm on page 324, about to start chapter 33. There are 40 chapters in this book too, so I have 7 left. Well, technically 8, because I still have to read this chapter. You know what I mean. I'll be honest though, it's been a really long time since a book has evoked this much emotion in me. Like, I've cried in some books in the past few months and stuff like that, but it hasn't like felt like this. And it feels so good. Like, I don't want it to end yet, but I'm also so excited to finish it. You know that feeling? I think I have about like 60-ish pages left, and it is currently 10 o'clock. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and try to just read until I'm done, since I don't really have that much left and I just really have to know what happens. Okay, last night I finished Happy Place by Emily Henry, and the second that I finished it, I knew it was an automatic 5-star. Everything about this book, the friendships, the relationship, the way it talks about change and growing up, and just how like real everything in this book is. It just made it so relatable, and obviously I related to it because you saw me sobbing. Like, that wasn't even like the extent. Like, here's a picture of me actually sobbing my eyes out at this book, and I haven't felt like that towards a book in so long. It just took so much out of me, so much so that now I have to read like a rom-com-y romance just to kind of like liven my spirits a little bit, because it's like really good, but it did like emotionally kind of put me through it a little bit. I'm pretty sure this is my favorite Emily Henry book, with Beach Read right behind it. Now I don't know where the other ones are gonna fall yet because I haven't read those yet, but I'm very excited to, and this also might be the best book that I've ever read. Definitely the best book of the year so far, but it might be the best book that like I've ever read. Like, might be like my favorite book ever. It is just so incredibly good. It is literally a masterpiece, a work of literal art. If you haven't read this book, you absolutely need to. We are finished with the last book that we were going to read in this video, so let's do a quick little recap of every book that I read. The first book that we read was Summer Reading by Jen McKinley, and I'm giving this one a 4 stars. I really enjoyed this book, and again, kind of like Happy Place, it talks about very real things. It's not just about the romance, it's about the relationship with her brother, with her best friend, with the rest of her family. And I love it whenever contemporary romance books feel very like real and raw, a real life experience, something that I can really like relate to. And it did remind me a little bit of Emily Henry's writing in that way, where it's just like very like real and real life experiences and things. I think the only thing that I didn't like about this book is that there was like this one thing in it that just like made me cringe a little. And then I also thought it was just like a little bit long for a romance book, but at the same time, like, I was enjoying it the entire time. So if you haven't heard about this book, haven't read it yet, you should definitely give it a chance. I definitely want to read more of Jen McKinley's books in the future. Then we read Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune, and I'm giving this one a solid 3 stars. I'll be honest, I like this book. It was a nice atmospheric kind of read, made me feel like I was in like that summer mood, but I didn't really like relate to Fern and Will that much. And also like the whole like kind of cheating thing, kind of not. Like, it was emotional cheating for sure. Just like made me feel weird, and I don't really like it whenever like books do that. I thought the story was interesting, and I did like enjoy it for the most part. Like, I didn't really feel like it was gonna like put me in a slump or anything like that. Like, I was still like enjoying reading it, but it's just like not like my favorite book ever. Like, I'm not gonna be thinking about the plot or the characters like forever or every day or anything like that. So that's why this one gets a 3 stars. But the cover is just still so gorgeous. I love this cover. And then last but certainly not least, we have Happy Place by Emily Henry, which I rated a solid 5 stars. You guys have already heard me babble so much about this book in this video, and I'm pretty sure that at least 50% of this video is me talking about this book. So if that's not your sign to read it, then I don't know what is. You must read this if you haven't. Alright, that is it on all 3 of these books. I feel pretty happy with my reads in this video. I feel like we have a little bit of mixture of ratings, and I feel like it was just a very good reading week for me. If you have any thoughts on these books at all, or any books that you guys want me to read, any videos you want me to do, make sure to leave those thoughts in the comments down below. And also, if you made it this far in the video, comment down below the beach emoji, because it's the summer reading vlog. I feel like it's just so fitting for this video. You just gotta do it. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this video and want to see more like it from me. And yeah, I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.